If I could have your attention here in the Media Center, we are joined by the Coors Light Pull Award winner for Sunday's Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series 36th Annual Pocono 400, and that is Kyle Busch, winner for the second straight week of the Coors Light Pull Award. That's his 21st pole in 440 Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series races, and his second pole and 12th top 10 start in 2017. Kyle, your team has qualifying locked in now. Would you please walk us through your lap today and what put you on the Coors Light?
Good speed. You know, we unloaded with some pretty decent speed right off the truck. The M&M's Camry was really good. So we just made some fine-tune adjustments through practice today. We only focused on qualifying runs, and that kind of worked out well for us. So, the qualifying session went pretty uneventful for us with some clouds kind of coming in and out. You know, we obviously wanted to take advantage of those when they were present, and I felt like we did that in the first round. Second round, it was only kind of a half a cloud in turn one, and then the last round was full sun. So I really didn't expect the last round to post that big of a lap time, but it did, you know. So good job to my guys on the great adjustments that they made and getting us, a really fast race car, too, in order to be able to go win that Coors Light pole.
Okay, we'll start here with Joseph, then go to Lee, then to Reed.
Joseph Walken, frontstretch.com. You're not racing if you're crew chief this weekend. You have an interim. What does this mean for you to have success right off the bat with a different crew chief?
I think it just shows the way Adam Stevens is able to prepare his team, prepare his cars, and the work that goes on back at the shop with all the guys, and the way that this whole team's lined up. Essentially, you know, you got to have good personnel, and Adam chooses all that, and Joe obviously gives us all the right tools that we need in order to be successful. So, so far so good. To come out here and to qualify first, that gives us the #1 pit selection for Sunday, and gives us the track position to start, but we got to keep it. You know, as we saw last week, we definitely missed the 8 ball on that one and screwed it up pretty early in the race and got ourselves, down and out almost. But we were able to rebound and finish okay. We were probably going to run 4th until we had another loose wheel in the end. But it was just a bad weekend for us. Just things didn't quite go the way we needed to on Sunday, and we want to change that here this time around at Pocono.
Go to Lee, then to Reed, then to John.
Lee Spencer, Motorsport.com. For those of us that don't understand what goes on behind the scenes, how do you attack an issue like that was so detrimental to, a single race, one of 36, could have been worse, could have been in the playoffs, whatever. But how does the team attack that and then move on beyond that, learn from it, grow from it, etc.?
The biggest unfortunate thing is that you kick guys to the sidelines, and guys that don't need to be kicked to the sidelines are the pit crew guys. They don't necessarily make a whole lot of money. They do get paid well, but they don't make a ton, and they don't need to be missing races because they're missing out on their pay and on their bonus and all that sort of stuff. But all things considered, it's we got backups essentially that are going to be in this week, and a backup crew chief as well too. But Ben's done a great job. We sort of rehearsed this a little bit last year when we missed Adam at the spring Dover race, so it's right on cue 365 days later that Adam's gone again. So, it's just an unfortunate circumstance for us and our team, but we're strong and we're a good group, and we just continue to focus on what we need to, and that's what we can that's all we can do.
What are those meetings like, though? Your weekly meetings. I mean, how do you look at that and say, what can we do? Or you just notch it up to human error?
I wasn't even there this past week, but as far as the meetings with Joe and Coach and everybody else, I think that it was human error. It was an accident. The gun didn't get flipped from reverse to forward, and it's just a part of it. And there's human error. I make mistakes all the time. Adams makes mistakes all the time. So we just got to live through it. Yeah, it's a big penalty, and it's unfortunate the way the rule was written. The intent of that rule wasn't quite what transpired there, but we live and die by that rule book, I guess, and so the consequences are there.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. On your lap in the final round there, it looked, in looking at the tracker, like you gained most of your time through turn 3. Was that the key to the lap?
I don't know. I haven't seen any of it. So I thought I got through turn 1 pretty good. I thought I got through turn 2 just okay, And then entering turn 3, I felt like I slipped a little too much actually, but as soon as it was done slipping, the car fell. I was like, wow, it's got great grip right now, go. And so it was kind of like a, like sliding in there, got nothing, and then all of a sudden it grips up and it's like, okay, go. And I just was able to get the gas down and stick really well off turn 3. So I did notice that I was able to shift early, and felt like I got a good exit there. I didn't know that how good of a lap it was going to be. Took forever to pop up on my screen, and once they said a 50-20, I was like, well, that was faster than the last round, so hopefully that's good enough and nobody else can beat it.
John?
Hey, Kyle, John Haverman with ESPN Radio Albuquerque. Based on the practice,
You're a long ways from home.
Well, you know what? I actually am from Long Island, so I'm not that far from home.
All right.
My question is, based on the practice speeds today, how confident were you that you could win the pole today, and ultimately, how confident are you now that you can win the race?
Every lap around here, it seems to change, so you certainly got to be ready for anything. The first round, I thought it was right with first practice. It was Larson and myself, and I figured I was going to have to battle Larson as the rounds went, but I don't know what happened to those guys, but a couple of the other guys kind of showed up and came a little farther forward than I expected them to, which was the 78 and the 20. They improved each round. I didn't think we were going to be battling those guys for the pole. I figured it was going to be either the 22 or the 42, 21. Those guys have been guys that have shown speed this year, so I thought it was going to be one of those. So I was just hoping I wasn't going to mess my own lap up, and that whatever lap we did post would be good enough.
We'll go next to Zach, then to Kyle.
Zach Sterniolo with the Pocono record. This one's a little bit different. I know this is a home race for your spotter, Tony Hirschman. I was wondering if you could talk about your relationship with him and kind of how he helps you throughout the course of a race, and what his role is with your team.
Well, I wish he was better and he did better, but no, he's done a great job. I felt like one of the best spotters in the business I had years ago, and paths just kind of veered away from one another. But since I've picked up Hirschman, it seems like I've picked up a guy that I can really rely on and I can really trust, and he does a really good job. Being able to not only coach a little bit as the race kind of goes on, talk to you about the different lanes that other drivers are using at times, but also, he's really useful in the sense of being able to just be accountable. I can literally not have to look in my mirror and double check what he's doing, so that gives a huge vote of confidence for him. There's some other guys out there that you listen to sometimes, and either you're like, what are they talking about, or what are they saying, and you're just like, that it's a good thing I don't have that in my ear. So I certainly rely on Tony a lot, and he probably goes underappreciated a lot of times, but it's nice to come to Pocono. I would certainly like to reward him a home track win, but I think just a little bit more importantly, I'd like to reward M&M's, our main sponsor, a home win here in the Lehigh Valley, right? Is that where we're at?
We are in the Lehigh
Okay,
Valley.
good. Got it.
Correct.
Kyle Knight of the Times leader. Kyle, how much thinking goes into a place like here with it being so temperature sensitive, whether you're going to catch a cloud or not from you and your team?
This place is just really, really temperature sensitive because of the amount of grip that you carry through the corner. If there's a shade in the corner and you can go through that corner and roll that corner faster, you carry so much more speed down the straightaway. So the more you can take the valleys out of your speed drops through the lap time, the faster the lap time is going to be. So that's where it's at. And this place is challenging. They call it the tricky triangle for a reason, because, as the pace slows down and the speed decreases, the cars act entirely different through all three corners. And as the speeds decrease, they decrease in each corner differently. Turn 1 might be really, really slow, and turn 3 might not be. It might just be the same speed it's always been all weekend long. So that changes the handling characteristics all the time. So you just got to be mindful of all that and ready for all that. And that's something maybe I haven't necessarily quite figured out throughout an entire race here that we haven't been in victory lane yet.
Go next to Claire B.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. When things happen like your crew chief being gone and whatnot, isn't this a time when you've owned race teams and whatnot, so you are a leader, that you step in as the leader of the team, that the team pulls together? And oftentimes teams do really well when they do that. Can you describe that and how your team is together, but this even pulls it together more with you as the leader?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say that that our guys focus anymore when our leader's not here, which is Adam Stevens. But you know, I think that they already have enough attention to detail that I wouldn't say that we could miss Adam every single weekend and we could be right where we need to be. Certainly, Adam's the reason why we are successful, and he puts in a good game plan, and we learned that from Coach and how to be able to go to the weekend without him. And so we've just been following along the plan of what Adam had in store for us, and we've been just doing our job, myself and Ben and the rest of the team. And those guys know what to do each and every week. They do as good of a job as they know how to do, and that's why we're successful as a group together. I think 4 weeks will be hard, but you know, when you look at this stretch, I think the biggest thing that we did this week was we looked at these 4 races. None of them are chase races, so you know, I would have appealed it because I think there was a reason to, but you know, I think there was obviously a reason not to as well with going to Pocono and Michigan and Sonoma and then Daytona. So you know, we'll live without him and we'll do what we need to do, and at least he can stay home with his kids more often here the next couple of days or weeks and not have to travel all the way out to Sonoma. I'm sure he's going to miss that one. I think his wife and my wife had a wine date in Sonoma, so she's still coming. But it's going to be fun to work as hard as we do, to do what we do without him. I say that's just, it's going to be fun because it's a different challenge. But yet it's also sad at the same time because you got to be without one of your main people.
Additional questions for Kyle? Kyle, congratulations on winning
All
the
right.
Coors Light Pool, and
Thanks.
good luck on Sunday.
Yep.